Good afternoon. My name is Jordan Dyer, and I will be discussing the effects of nutrition education intervention on Division I female beach volleyball athletes. And my presentation is on, I guess, a proposal because I'm not doing a project or a thesis since I will be opting for the comprehensive exam. So just kind of going over an overview of the presentation, we'll be discussing the introduction, overview of the study, problem and purpose, literature review, and methods and procedures that I would plan on taking to conduct this actual research project. So women's collegiate beach volleyball is the fastest growing sport in the NCAA, and it's in the history of the NCAA. It's been around officially as an NCAA sport since 2016, so just two years. And so as you could guess, there's not much research available right now out there since it's such a new sport. Obviously it takes a little time to conduct studies, so there might be a few things that are happening right now, but at this moment in time, I've been only able to find one study, peer-reviewed article that's based on collegiate beach volleyball athletes, and it was actually regarding energy balance. So that's kind of what my proposal is about. So, looking at collegiate beach volleyball, women's especially, in that one study and other research studies involving volleyball athletes at the college level, there have been some nutritional concerns, and so I'll kind of dive into that as we move forward. Statement of the problem: female collegiate beach volleyball or collegiate volleyball athletes may not have adequate knowledge regarding sports nutrition. There's a number of studies that I'll discuss in a little bit that have found collegiate athletes, most collegiate athletes don't have enough information or knowledge about sports nutrition. Another issue, a statement of the problem, is female collegiate beach volleyball athletes may not be consuming enough energy to match their energy expenditure. Research questions: does an average female collegiate beach volleyball athlete have a negative energy balance? Does an average female collegiate beach volleyball athlete have adequate sports nutritional knowledge? The purpose of the study is to evaluate the effects of nutrition education intervention regarding energy balance amongst Division I female beach volleyball athletes. Significance of the study: there isn't, as I said, right now enough research available right now for collegiate beach volleyball athletes out there. So this study could serve as a reference, informational piece for other programs, athletes, around the country of the 65 or 66, I think, collegiate beach volleyball programs out there. This could be a good precedent for some universities to look at, and it could also potentially help combat low energy availability amongst female collegiate beach volleyball athletes. Delimitations: participants must be female collegiate beach volleyball athletes. Roughly 36 participants would be involved in this study over the course of 6 months. Major limitation would be the human error of accuracy involved with, when you're recording your diet logs, because this study would require participants to record their diet and activity logs for 2 weeks, and collegiate athlete is really busy, and I can see there could be some issues with reliable information on that side. Assumptions: the participants in the study understand the education information and the aim of feedback, so they're confident enough to understand what that information or intervention session consists of. The participants completed the nutrition questionnaire and dialogues to the best of their ability. I'll kind of explain that in a little bit. Hypothesis is Division I female beach volleyball athletes who have completed a nutrition education intervention will have a higher caloric intake, healthier energy balance, and be less susceptible to low energy availability than those Division I female beach volleyball athletes who have not received a nutrition education intervention. So that's, that first section is more nutrition education intervention is for the control, or so the experimental group, and then the athletes that have not had the education intervention would be more of a controlled group, which I'll explain. One major definition would be low energy availability is a component of the female athlete triad. which is a syndrome that can negatively affect reproductive function and bone health. So a pretty serious thing to be considering. And now looking at literature review. So this little, topic is nutritional deficiencies amongst female collegiate volleyball athletes. So there are, limited research studies out there on dietary intake regarding female volleyball athletes ranging from adolescence to college age. So this is more like indoor, general volleyball athletes, and they've found negative energy balance. A negative energy balance which can be correlated to low energy availability in terms of you're not eating enough for how much energy, you're not taking in enough energy for how much you're expending. So that they've found that as a current issue, and there's a number of studies, Cortez, Gilchrist, and Papadopoulos, I believe. And look at the next slide is the nutritional knowledge, sports nutritional knowledge of collegiate athletes. This is just general collegiate athletes. Of the limited studies focused on nutritional knowledge of collegiate athletes, there's been a general understanding that collegiate athletes have inadequate nutritional knowledge, and even, for instance, looking at the Torres-McGehee study, they found that only 9% of the collegiate athletes had adequate knowledge regarding sports nutrition, and that they did that in the form of a survey, a questionnaire, and it was revised and approved by a dietitian, and then I think the threshold was 75%, and if you were able to get 75% of the questions correct, then you'd be deemed, you'd have adequate knowledge, and only 9% of the collegiate athletes were able to score high enough. And then there was also the Cortez study, involved at 38%. That was the average score for a different study. Collegiate athletes only scored 38% on the nutrition questionnaire they administered overall. So not great numbers, kind of concerning for collegiate athletes that are probably the most active they've ever been, when they're 18, 19, 20, 21 in a Division I setting, and they're away from their home typically, so they're not getting maybe potentially as consistent energy intake. So they're in a different environment, and they are hyperactive in a lot of cases. And the thing is, it seems like a lot of them have inadequate knowledge of nutrition. So it seems like there's a couple of things that may be concerned in terms of, these are some red flags in my opinion. Looking at literature review effects of nutrition intervention on athletes. So, a number of studies have focused on nutrition interventions for female athletes, and they found positive results, such as improved dietary behavior, nutritional knowledge, and self-efficacy. So that's great that they found, positive. There's been a positive impact of nutrition intervention on athletes. So it seems like it's a viable option to try to implement. Looking at the energy demands of beach volleyball, there's a couple studies that have looked at that and have found this is under the characteristics of a female collegiate beach volleyball athlete. So there's the average weight and height of the one study that did focus on collegiate beach volleyball athletes, the Gilchrist study. 63 kilograms, 174 centimeters, kind of like the average statistic for a collegiate beach volleyball athlete. And then, looking at the energy demands, Gilchrist and then Coit both have found that there are excessively high energy demands to be playing beach volleyball. And so it kind of goes into high energy demands, lack of adequate nutritional knowledge. These things seem like there needs to be someone going in and investigating this, and that's what this proposal is all about. This is kind of going back to my hypothesis. Division I female beach volleyball athletes who have completed a nutrition education intervention will have a higher caloric intake, healthier energy balance, and be less susceptible to low energy availability than those Division I female beach volleyball athletes who have not received a nutrition education intervention. So the methods and study design, this is majority is experimental design in terms of control group and experimental group. And there's also descriptive design. There's an aspect of that when evaluating the nutritional knowledge of all the participants. Just describing and providing, kind of getting the status on what the current knowledge is of that sports nutrition amongst collegiate beach volleyball athletes. Participants will be between 18 and 22 years old, female, and currently considered in good health on a roster, or active on a current collegiate beach volleyball roster in Division I. Recruitment would be involving a fishbowl technique, where I would randomly select 6 or 7 universities, and then reach out to their program via email or phone, and see hopefully get 1 or 2 of those programs to be willing to volunteer. And there's 18 on average players on a roster, so if you were able to get 2 programs out of the 7 to be willing to participate, then it would be able to be the numbers of participants. Instrumentation, there's the nutritional knowledge questionnaire that was administered by, very similar to the Torres-McGehee study, nutrition data systems for research, evaluating the nutrition data. 14-day diet log that was administered by Valiant for their study. I think it was a 3 or 7 days, so just kind of extending that, and using MyFitnessPal, the app for that. Procedures is a proposal, so I don't think that will be needing to do that. Power analysis. So moving forward, so procedures, kind of like I said, fishbowl technique would be applied, randomly picking 7 universities programs out of a bowl, and then reaching out to them via email, phone, to get at least 2 programs involved, about 36 participants, and report some baseline stats. Administer a 20-question survey regarding sports nutrition knowledge to all the participants via online. And then all participants will log a 14-day diet and activity log via MyFitnessPal, and then submit their data to our researchers. When you look at immediately after that, half the participants, the experimental group, will see a registered dietitian for a nutrition intervention, and that dietitian will provide one-on-one feedback to each participant's diet and activity log, and then also feedback on their scores, so providing them education, an education platform, and just intervention. So hopefully getting them to line up a little bit more, hopefully put them on a better track regarding nutrition. Control group would not experience nutrition intervention or have any feedback. 6 months later, you fast forward and you look at the participants, and you have them complete and submit another 14-day diet and activity log, and also their height, weight, BMI, and then also complete another 20-question sports nutrition survey that's different, but also approved by a dietitian. And then researchers will take all this information and evaluate whether or not the participants in the experimental group improved their nutritional knowledge as well as their dietary intake compared to the control group. And data will be input on Microsoft Excel. I believe SPSS would be involved, I'm assuming. Then I haven't taken the stats class yet, so I'm not sure. And that's it. Awesome. Thank you very much, guys. I appreciate your time. I'm looking forward to looking at someone else's project. Thanks.